Welcome once again to Commander by Danon. When Streets of New Capenna was first announced, I decided I wanted to do 6 Commander deck tech videos. The first 5 were easy. I saw legendary creatures that looked fun and interesting, so I built decks around them. Some combo, some aggro, but all unique and interesting. But the last one took some time. I wanted to build something interesting, powerful, and unique, but none of the other commanders really spoke to me. But there was one I kept coming back to. Falco, Spara, Pactweaver. I thought he'd be a fun and interesting build, so I took a swing at it and wound up with something interesting and fun. Falco Spara Pactweaver is a 4-mana 3/3 legendary bird demon with flying and trample. He enters the battlefield with a shield counter. Shield counters are a new mechanic unique to the brokers in Streets of New Capenna. If a permanent with a shield counter on it would be destroyed by an effect, you remove the shield counter instead of the permanent being destroyed. Additionally, Falco Spara also lets you look at the top card of your library at any time, and by removing a counter from any creature you control, you can cast that card from the top of your library. You still have to pay any other costs, of course. The brokers are lawyers, not thieves, after all. You will abide by the terms of the contract. So what do we want our deck to accomplish? Our commander lets us cast spells from the top of our library, but not lands. So we need ways to get lands off the top of our library. Additionally, we need ways to put counters on creatures, or have creatures that enter with counters already on them. Probably both. Finally, we need ways to protect our creatures from board wipes so we can beat our opponents down. Just a heads up, this is not a budget deck. I figure I built enough of those over the past few weeks, and I have a few more planned for the future. But I wanted to go a little hog wild on this deck. Of course, there are no cards over $50. But before we get into the deck tech, let's keep in mind our checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. To start, let's take a look at creatures that enter the battlefield with counters on them. We have Stonecoil Serpent, Walking Ballista, Hungering Hydra, Mikaeus the Lunarch, Ochre Jelly, Genesis Hydra, Hydroid Crisis, Nimbus Swimmer, Steelbane Hydra, Voracious Hydra, Lifeblood Hydra, Altered Ego, Arixmethes Slumbering Isle, Custody Soulbinders, Colonian Hydra, Sanctuary Warden, and Prime Speaker Zagana. For creatures that put counters on others, I've included Thrumming Bird, Evolution Sage, Master Biomancer, and Roalesque Apex Hybrid. Additionally, we're running Inexorable Tide, Sword of Truth and Justice, Broker's Ascendancy, Unbound Flourishing, and Vorinclex Monstrous Raider for more counter shenanigans. Our spot removal package starts with the already mentioned Steelbane Hydra, Swords to Plowshares, Generous Gift, Beast Within, Imprisoned in the Moon, Disenchant, Endless Detour, which doubles as our first piece of graveyard hate, and Bant Charm, which is a nice flexible card. Our counter magic package consists of Negate, Dovin's Veto, and Commit Memory, which is our second piece of graveyard hate. Finally, for protection, we've got Heroic Intervention and Teferi's Protection. Our board wipes consist of Cyclonic Rift, Consuming Tide, and Farewell. For card advantage, we have the already mentioned Hydroid Crisis, Prime Speaker Zagana, and Sanctuary Warden. We also have Tachiova, Benthic Druid, Growth Spiral, Eureka Moment, Golden Ratio, Tezzeret's Gambit, Contentious Plan, Rhystic Study, and Eternal Witness as graveyard recursion. I've already mentioned Arixmethes Slumbering Isle, which is part of our mana ramp in addition to being a creature that enters with counters. But a big part of our ramp is making sure we can play lands off the top of our library. For that plan, we have Augur of Autumn, Courser of Kruphix, and Oracle of Moldiah. To play extra lands per turn, we have Azusa Lost But Seeking, Wayward Swordtooth, and Zimone Quandrix Prodigy. Fertilid to fetch extra lands, Jugan Defends the Temple works very well in our deck, Raminuf Excavator and Crucible of Worlds works well with our fetches, while Sol Ring and Mirari's Wake round out our package. For lands, since we're not on a budget, we've got 6 fetches in Flooded Strand, Windswept Heath, Misty Rainforest, Arid Mesa, Verdant Catacombs, and Scalding Tarn. We also have Shocks, Checks, Bondlands, and Slowlands. Spara's Headquarters and Seaside Citadel are the only lands in our deck that never enter untapped. And we also have a Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Reliquary Tower, Karn's Bastion, 5 forests, 3 plains, and 5 islands. So let's compare our deck to our checklist and see how we did. 50 mana sources, right on target. 12 pieces of card advantage counting our commander, 13 pieces of interaction including 4 counterspells and 2 pieces of mass protection, 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, 1 sudden I win card in Cyclonic Rift, assuming our board is big enough. So our deck checks all the boxes and is a ton of fun to play. Every match is a little different, but still familiar and interesting. The deck plays like a cascade, with more and more creatures every turn, and them growing larger and larger. There are lots of little synergies in this deck that I love. This isn't the only way to build around this commander though. He's an interesting commander with many options. How would you build Falco, Spara, Pactweaver? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cute Stuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, there's a link to her Fiverr page below. I'm doing a push and trying to post new videos every weekday for the next few months, so look forward to lots of new videos in the near future. Or you can click here for more Commander content. I've also started a Patreon. You can click the link below or go to patreon.com/Danon. Stay safe and I'll see you all next time on Commander by Danon.